Hi everyone, McBeard here, back with another deck guide for you now that we are deep into the swap patch. We have a couple cards that changed, and I wanted to experiment with one of them for one of my favorite decks of all time, Mulligan Dash. Any sort of deck that utilizes the swap mechanic with Siri Dash. It's just been a thing that I've been doing for a while, and the deck is better than ever. I gotta say, the recent changes to Elven Scout made this deck even better than it was, because originally the spot in which I currently have Elven Scout in was just Vriad Neophyte because I needed a 10 strength body that was decent to swap, that provided some sort of value for me. So I used the Vriad Neophyte in that situation because it was good to tag Hattori with a buff here and there, and it was good to tag anything that I'd be swapping back in with a buff like Eilerin, or really just getting any carryover value at all. But now with the Elven Scout, this deck has 3 additional swap opportunities, which means the need to buff Hattori, just more background, this used to be a Francesca deck, and you'd bring Hattori back into your hand, so Hattori was buffed to the point where Hattori could res an officer for a late game smash of a Geralt or boosted Siri Dash, just one big play to resurrect the officer and then swap one of these cards in your hand. So I feel like that's a lot less necessary now, and I use Hattori a little bit differently in this deck, but he helps me thin and he still makes the plays a little bit stronger. But the general idea here is that Riot officers, when they're mulliganing Geralt or Siri Dash, this is vanilla Geralt, Siri Dash usually at 14 or maybe 17, that the plays late game in a short round 3 are very, very strong. Now, this is made even better by the fact that in a long round, you can add a Vriad Vanguard because you have so many extra swaps and so many ways to find your single Vriad Vanguard, or you can simply just reconnaissance it out if you happen to find it with your Elven Mercenaries. Your Vriad Vanguard actually gets you a lot of value. You run one in a situation where you're going the distance in round 1, but there's a lot of elves to buff. And because there's a lot of elves to buff, I actually think that maybe Geralt's spot could be Yorveth. Siri Dash would stick around. Saskia helps you fix your hand because you really want those Elven Mercenaries in your hand for round 1, and sometimes you just need to rearrange your hand in round 3. There's usually always application for Saskia. Royal Decree will help you get your Siri Dash or your Geralt of Rivia out of your deck at the end of the game because you probably swap them back in to the deck for extra value. So this ends up being, anywhere between a 17 to 22 point card, Royal Decree, or if you desperately need Saskia to fix your hand, you use it round 1 to bring her in. So there's a lot of ways that Royal Decree is going to get you value, long-term or short-term. Elias is great because you have extra swaps. There's more reason to run Elias. Basically, if you ever need to play an Elven Scout to stay in the round and you can afford to play it, Elias is in your hand, swap him away. Swap him away at any opportunity because the deck is so thin that when you use marching orders for the second time with Ethna, who is the new leader for this deck, you're very likely to hit Elias because you can very much control what card is in your deck for marching orders, and this deck thins really, really well. So Elias is actually very, very legit. You're often going to play Ethna into marching orders into an 18 to 20 point Elias if you see him enough. Sometimes he's at the bottom of the deck and you just won't see him that often. But worst case scenario, he's still going to be 14 points, I think, in most situations, unless you do not see him at all in the game and he's on the bottom of your deck. So he's pretty good in this list here. Eilerin comes out, you have lots of elves. Roach comes out, you definitely want to play Siri Dash early and Saskia early, so you're going to get Roach out. And it also makes those lower tempo plays higher tempo for gold cards. And Ida is really in there for control and weather prevention in a long round 3 or a situation where you need to control. Hattori will more likely resurrect an Elven Mercenary after round 1 to pull your final reconnaissance. I personally like that play, but I'm still working around with Hattori's slot right now, or if I want to run 3 Elven Mercenaries after all. Marching orders gets you the Elven Mercenary early, also can get you Hattori late, and can sometimes get you something of very high value late if you find it late or you're playing it for a second time with Ethna. From there, the core of this deck in spirit is very similar to how it always was. You're using maybe one Vriad officer early on in the game for a huge tempo play with Geralt or Ciri. With Geralt, Ciri you'd prefer to actually play. So Geralt or perhaps Elias or even an Elven Scout, it's pretty decent to play starting at 15. This card's almost always going to be 15 plus. The Blue Mountain Elite likely comes out from your first reconnaissance from your first Elven Mercenary, and then you'll need one more play to get Eilerin out. So then you have a lot of elves on the board for ultimately swapping or playing your Vryad Vanguard. So Vryad Vanguard will start around 11 or 12 and just get better and better the longer you hold on. And then ultimately you want to be able to play it from your hand, play it from a reconnaissance, or maybe even play it from the marching orders depending on how your thinning has gone. And then you can get another round of boosts. So the single Vryad Vanguard, I like this change. The 2 Elven Mercenaries and Hattori, I'm kind of on. And I'm maybe thinking that Geralt could be a different slot, and then you do all the swapping on Ciri. But Geralt really makes it so you can drop a 20-point bronze card in round 1. And it feels pretty good to be able to take a round like that. So lots of really cool flexibility with this deck. I have 2 games that I played very recently for Fight Night against my friends, so check it out. In the first game, my opponent gets really hosed by RNG, but it doesn't really change the way the strategy from this deck plays out, so just look at how many points I get, I guess, for the first game. And the second game's a little bit closer. In fact, I have a bad hand in the second game, and I managed to make it a lot closer than it appeared in the first few draws and plays. So check it out. I love this deck. It's one of my favorite decks of all time. I still use Ciri Dash, and I think that this is one of the best decks that can actually use this card. So check it out. I know a lot of you love Mulligan Dash, so I'm really happy to revisit it with the new Elven Scout. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. He's probably also expecting spells, because I was just playing spells. All right.
Yield and save me some time.
Let's do this.
I like to improvise.
I see.
The storm is coming. Let's enjoy the weather while we still can.
No peeking, no peeking. That was a worry. I mean, I was kind of hoping I would hit the Blue Mountain Elite when I went in there. I thought that that was what I was going to get from the recon. But that is not what I got from the recon. I'm going to identify that as a problem.
Why have you summoned me?
Glad to see you on the airwaves, McBee. Haven't seen you in for a while. I was wondering if you got back from Poland or if Berger had kept me. I was super sick, actually. QG Dave. I came home and I was like basically bedridden for like 2 straight days, and then I was recovering yesterday. My voice was gone. You can still hear it. You can still. My voice is not totally back yet. Not totally back yet.
Death awaits us all.
See, now that single Vanguard I have,
152,
not too bad.
154.
Everything all right?
Only death here for Dwan.
Okay. Now my deck's so thin now, I'm very likely to get that back. So in the long round, this is a pretty strong deck.
I shall flog them to submission.
Oh, that sucks! That sucks! Again, I apologize for the sick voice. Ooh, this is probably I want to pass here, don't I? 20 points? No, I think I need to be in control, though, don't I? Don't I need to be in control here? 20 points feels like a pretty good pass here. I think I have to take it. I think I have to take it. Should have expected that. He Calvined it.
Quite a menial task.
Oh, because he saw it. Oh, what a bummer. Not going your way here, XYC. I mean, I'm sure you can still do it in one card, but... Oh, he can just barely do it. Yeah, he would have seen it in John Calvin, I suppose. But that means he couldn't play Village of Forts either, or he could have played Village of Forts. Sometimes I forget that interaction. Siri Dash, come back to me. I do want the Vanguard in my hand, don't I? Okay. And this is also one of the best things about it, is that you can play Ciri. It's such an easy, like if you get open past on, you drop Ciri again. Now she's 17. Uh-oh. That's pretty strong for the officers. There's Geralt. Hattori was on marching orders, now the Riot Officer is, which is actually pretty good. Elias hasn't gotten any buffs, which is super sad. And he kind of needs to. Part of this is that Ethna is playing marching orders, and marching orders actually hits Elias because the deck is so thin. And Hattori is reconning
Don't
now.
assume you can order me around.
I shall be your eyes, my lord.
Well, Hattori can recon an officer later, actually. I think Saskia's kind of crappy here because I drew her later. I didn't play her. I could have played her from... But like the Royal Decree is also important for later as well because I get Ciri Dash for sure.
We'll win.
But I do actually think I want these in my hand, right? So I think it actually works just fine. It's just a little slow. Letha Regis, if you preserve Spy for round 3? Ah, shit.
Give it all you've got!
It's true, it could be.
Don't leave me here!
I just like to play 3 recons, but only 2 Elven Mercenaries. I should have put the Elven Mercenary in between.
Blood and neck ends. Similian Vat.
Oh man, this deck feels better than ever. Better than ever.
March!
You should not have come here.
Elias gets another buff. Ciri Dash in the hand. I'm gonna recon. I'm gonna get the Riot Officer from. Okay, hold on. How do I get Elias here? I can't. Can I? I actually can't get him with the Riot Officer in the deck, which is fine. I mean, pulling an officer is totally fine too. Like that's tons of points, tons and tons and tons of points. But Elias being in the deck's kind of lame. But the officer could flip me into Elias. Actually, isn't that what I want? Isn't that all I ever wanted? Isn't it all I ever needed? I have no more elves to play. I have 2 more elves to play.
Humans have no place in Broccolon.
Blood and neck ends. Similian Vat.
There he is. Your boy Elias. 10 points.
Riot!
Oh, it's the officer. Of course it's the officer. Interesting. Now I can play Siri Dash. Or I can play, like, all of these plays are pretty big. In fact, I think I play the Vanguard now.
Your tricks will not save you, Dwarf.
Try to keep, like, kind of lower units by the bigger units, just in case there's Lethal Regis happening here.
Clearly, I've a weak.
I have so many points, you
old
guys.
wenches.
So many points.
152, 154.
All right, let's finish it off here with a 19-point Siri Dash.
Yield and save me some time.
I gotta say, the deck felt pretty good just there. Oh, Jats, here's the list. That was pretty good, I gotta say. XYCME. Thank you for letting me test that out. Thank you very much.
For Skellige's glory!
I respect nothing human.
Sweet Kraken crates. All right. It's an abysmal hand that we have no Elven Mercenaries or a way to access marching orders. But that's why we would make a play like this.
Hold the lines!
It's unfortunate because it's really good to have a world to create at the end of the game, but yeah, I had to do that there. I had to do it.
Don't make me laugh.
Bojima's next, by the way. I gotta fix that.
You stand before the queen of
Oh, I said Bojima was next, but I wasn't really Psycho Wrench was next, but Bojima, you are next now. Sorry about that. What's Fight Night? Fight Night is when I open my doors to challenges from the chat. Do I just want to clear this?
Why have you summoned me?
I'll just clear it. I mean, I'm thinking of the value I'm getting from it.
Wilmer! Did you hear? They need us!
What am I playing against over here?
The storm is coming. Let's enjoy the weather while we still can.
Give me that Isler in as well.
Feed you to the crows!
Alright, we got a lot of elves on board now.
You've got the heart of an uncrit. Woman with me, dead or alive.
That's a lot of points.
Everything all right?
Blood and neck ends. Similian Vart.
I'm pretty sure I have to swap this now, right? No, I can swap the scout now. And I can swap the riot. I can swap now. I I'm probably not going to play this officer this round, but I can swap the ride with the scout next. That's a lot of points. Why didn't Roach come out with Saskia? Because I didn't play Saskia from hand. That is why. Played against Discard SK the other day, 29-point dash. Got me, wasn't even mad. Ooh, that's not good, is it? Hattori? What's up? Hattori's good for later. Hattori is an extra reconnaissance with a boost on it.
Give him no rest, no reprieve.
Feeling the love today on Fight Night. Thanks so much for all the hosts, everybody. Thanks, Apero, for your raiding party. Nice big raid. Hello, Apero family. Team Aretuza, fan, boys and girls. What's my play here? Is the play to pass? I think I pass here. I think I pass here.
Behold the goddess's wrath!
He don't like you.
The lack of marching orders on that one was really too bad. But I think I can still win. There's marching orders. So I can put Hattori back if I really want to. But marching orders grabs the officer now, so that's pretty good too. I'm just gonna play Hattori to thin. I think I'm fine looking for the Vanguard again. Now the fact that none of my officers are in here are kind of bad.
He is here.
Actually, super bad right now. I have to play this. Well, no, I can play Siri Dash, I guess.
Yield and save me some time.
Siri Dash. Poggers. Just coming here from Emperor's stream appears fighting viewers who challenged him earlier in the stream. That is what's going on, Wes. That's going on. Epic level shiz. Thanks so much for saying that. This deck has Geralt in it. I don't understand. Because it's a 15-point swap. It makes a 20-point officer. It's good. And it's thins reliably. This is like my secret. This is like my secret sauce. This is the deck that I've been waiting to be good. I think actually with new Elven Scouts might actually be good. I might play this one more time this fight night because I believe in this deck. I think this should never happen. This clumpy ending here. Like I should have like two or one card left in my deck at this point. What's he doing? What you doing? Ah, you are passive. You'll see. You'll see why I have all the things. This deck is didn't put stuff in randomly here. I need one of these in the deck. 17 point. So now my officers are 22-point bronzes. They're all Siri Novas. I can play marching orders twice. Elias hasn't been in my hand or anything. It just hasn't shown up at any point. So that sucks. But I will be able to get an officer out now.
Don't leave me here.
The storm is coming. Let's enjoy the weather while we still can.
Or not. Well, this is super unfortunate.
Only death here for Dwan.
Didn't even draw Elias. Like, Elias is basically like as if it is not in this deck. It is the bottom card. What is this? Elias is the bottom card here. But the idea for this deck is that it's thin enough. As you can see with a rough draw, I still end up with 3 cards left in my deck. On a rough draw, I can still swap so many times at the end of the round that I can play marching orders earlier in the game and get an Elven Mercenary is what I like to do. I had to play Saskia to get them, unfortunately, because I didn't draw any. Or this. But then I would play Ethna again for marching orders, and Elias would actually be the lowest card in the deck, and I would get all of the value from Elias. That's not how this is going down, however.
Blood and neck ends. Similian Vat.
The Great Mother's grace is boundless.
Cool. That's a good combo. I need the officer to be the pull for marching orders, I think, so I think I have to play like this, but I think I can also afford to play this. Elias is like legitimately the bottom card in the deck. Crockpots. Witcher 2 opening cutscene music? Oh, yeah. I don't think this is playing on random either. I think it's going to be playing in order.
The Great Mother's grace is
This is the end of my playlist. It's going to be all Witcher 2 from here. This is kind of an interesting... I mean, we do have a lot of... This is not turning out to be a bad card here. But basically what I'll do is I'll be able to marching orders the officer to trigger this, and then play marching orders again to draw this. And in the process, draw either Elias or Siri Dash. I think that's how I have this go.
Blood and neck ends. Similian Vat.
Yeah, good. You see what I mean? It might still not be enough, though, because I am behind a card, so... Don't get your hopes too high up. So, it's really... The one card was preventing Royal marching orders from hitting Elias. It was even on a bad draw where I had to fix everything, I still end up with 2 cards left in my deck and just barely out of it. Just barely out of it. So if I win this game can win under some pretty bad draws, I would say.
I respect nothing human.
Death to humans!
That is if I actually lose this game, because I do still have a lot of points to go here. I do believe this kind of game can only happen if Elias is the bottom card in the deck.
Not your lucky day.
In which case, I don't really want him anyway, because he's still 10 points. Usually, Elias comes at about 18 points.
That might even be a
So shit, do we have this?
Yield and save me some time.
Oh, yes! Mulligan Dash coming back for a victory lap. This deck is legit. Legit.